We've got ignition, 1. We've got RIP, takeoff. Welcome to another edition of Mouthpiece Included, where we discuss politics. That's a fusion of sports and politics. Today's topic is the NBA's John Baptiste Point DuSable. That's the Jackie Robinson of the league. Who is it? We're going to chop that up. And we got some other hot topics, as always, lined up for everyone. This is an open panel. Open panel. So we ask you, if you pull up, click the link. It's pinned in the top of the chat. But don't forget, if you do pull up, don't forget to bring your mouthpiece. It's going to be very important. Please stand by as we look to take care of some house cleaning. Then we're going to jump this right off. Appreciate your patience. Like, share, subscribe. Like, share, tweet it. Do what you need to do. Like, share, and subscribe. TATN.
Copyright Act 1976. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
Fair use, y'all. Fair use. Let's get it. TATN.
Who are the guys that are the best in the world and make the rest of the team look like a gaggle of girls?
Okay, I'm in my local Ralph's, and this happened.
I don't go to church, and I know God understands.
Man, why do they keep the honey around here? Excuse me, you know where the honey is?
Who are the guys that are the best in the world and make the rest of the team look like a gaggle of
Cheese
girls?
Al. Who wants cheese head?
I don't go to church, and I know God understands. I can stay on my couch because God is a fan of the Bears.
Who are the guys that are the best in the world and make the rest of the team look like a gaggle of girls? The Bears!
I don't go to church, and I know God understands. I can stay on my couch because God is a fan of the Bears.
Who are the guys that are the best in the world and make the rest of the team look like a...
Well, guys, let's go to the swimming pool. Let's go take a shower. Let's go water skiing.
Don't forget to bring a towel.
There he is.
Be sure to bring a towel so you don't get all wet.
Be sure to bring your towel. When you mess around, get wet up out here. Don't forget to bring your mouthpiece either. Silverback's in the building. Once again, welcome to another edition of Mouthpiece Included. If y'all don't know the format, we always chop it up about some Chicago Bears. Bears. We always chop it up about those Bears. And then we always, sometimes we talk about Sox Cubs if we've got any relevant news for you. Go Cubbies. Go Sox. We've got some Bulls banter lined up for you today. Both the hosts here predicted them not to make it to the playoffs. Are you kidding me right now? Playoffs? But right now they're positioned to make it to the playoffs. And we've picked a booger. That used to be, the booger used to be resigned to an African American out there, but the co-host brought up a good point, and there are some green boogers, pink boogers, you know. and brown boogers. So we've got a pink booger for you lined up this week. Booger of the week. And our hottest topic, as you guys can see at the title, it's the NBA's John Baptiste Point DuSable. That's the Jackie Robinson. Come on, man. Got another co-host. That's the Jackie Robinson of the National Basketball Association. We always got some more hot topics lined up for you. If you got the cojones, if you still got them, click that link that's pinned in the top of the chat. It's an open panel. If you do pull up, better guard your grill. Don't forget to bring your mouthpiece. You can call in too. That phone number's in the chat as well. So, yeah, we can do all of that. Give me a second here, Jim. All right, there we go. All right, and so that's what we got lined up for y'all. It's a political conversation. Let's get the resident co-host in the building. That's Ace with all the mind space. Here's her.
TATN.
Jackie Robinson's famous.
What it is, what it do, what it don't do.
Bear down. What it do?
Hey, it's another day in paradise here on the south side of Chi. Winding down our political aspirations for mayor here in the city of Chicago. Larry Lightblunt is officially on our way out. Now we got to figure out who's going to be the next
Smithers,
mayor of the city of Chicago. She made history on her way out, being one of only 3 incumbent mayors that wasn't reelected in the city of Chicago. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, I expect a low voter turnout. Unfortunately, that's the Democratic machine's way of getting their candidate in, especially when you got a runoff. But hey, what you gonna do? Just do your part. Do your part. So yeah,
runoffs.
That's what's happening in the Chi, and it's almost baseball season.
Yeah, it is. That weather's starting to break, and so that's always fantastic. Y'all get out there and do the right thing. Vote.
Yeah, vote. Get your kids out there playing baseball, basketball, football, brain ball, building rockets, whatever you can. Get your kids involved in something. Reading books, building programs, learning trades, whatever you can. Just don't let them sit home.
Facts. Speaking of baseball, you got any Cubs White Sox banter?
Yeah. Cubs season start on Thursday.
Does it?
I believe so.
Oh wow.
Is it? Yeah. I think they start on this Thursday at Wrigley. So they're getting some decent weather. It might be 50 degrees, so they might be okay. But no, I don't have anything about those guys. They got some contest for the Cubs though. You can go out there tomorrow and try and hit a home run, and you'll get some tickets for the home game. First home game. Yeah,
Oh, you gotta go out there and hit a home run in Wrigley. Is the wind blowing out, or is the wind
absolutely
blowing in?
Wind's probably blowing in. Gonna go out there and freeze, catch pneumonia, get the run or whatever. Then they're gonna then they'll tell you to come back next year. You know how the Cubs promotion. You pay $50 to park. You go and try and hit a home run for some $20 tickets. So we'll see what happens. I'm off tomorrow. Maybe I'll roll by there.
Yeah, chicks dig the long ball, so you mess around, get your contract with those Cubbies,
Yeah, no, they don't hire my kind anymore.
Yeah, melanated.
Yeah,
all right. So
they used to.
Oh yeah, they'll get back to it. So the topic is the NBA's John Baptiste Point DuSable, who's the Jackie Robinson of the NBA. That's the premise. Plus, we got other hot topics, and it's an open panel. Yeah, you guys pull up. So let's go ahead to next topic, the Bulls. So we're getting news, as you've been saying forever, and I eventually caught on. But so Ball has had the surgery. Lonzo don't ball. Big ups. Wish him a speedy recovery. They said it's a great chance he may be shut down again next season.
Okay. Next season?
Yes, next season. And he would be the first player in history to return to playing sports with that type of injury. What are your comments on this?
Well, you know my comments have been in the last few years. He's damaged goods. I don't know what they can write off on his contract is concerned. I think they only had one player after the last collective bargaining agreement you can write off for your books as far as the player is concerned. But he's got to make history as far as coming back from this particular injury, which nobody has ever done after surgery. And I don't see it happening. Unfortunately, the Bulls currently don't, as composed, don't really have an answer to what they're going to do without Ball, and they constructed their team so they can win now. So, as we've been stating since before the trade deadline, it's time to get the grenade and blow this thing up.
And you know what amazes me is that they have a lot more patience with Ball, not saying they shouldn't, than they did with the homegrown D Rose. It's been some talk about them picking up D Rose. But let's just say they shut Ball down next season. That means he would only have, I think, one more season under this contract.
Right.
Which means he's only played maybe 2 years out of the contract. Man, what a deal.
35 games. And you're looking for him to come back in the last year of the contract and to get paid again.
Oh, yeah, he'll probably come back, tough it out, play through the pain. You know what I mean? And the Bulls will re-up him to 5 years, another 5 years, $100 million, and then he'll sit down again.
Yeah. I mean, if they ever get him back on the court, if that's what they're forced to do, of course you got to trade him as soon as somebody's looking at him.
You mean as soon as he can get close to passing a physical, give him a shot, let him go in there and work out?
Go right out there, work out, and we're going to have you on the first thing smoking. That's right.
All right, but the Bulls
they
are
don't
balling.
test for that.
You know, we mentioned that both of us, agreed that we don't have them making the playoffs, but they are in position for the dumb play-in tournament, which is just dumb, in my personal opinion. They're playing some pretty good basketball. Zach LeBedrest is out there performing. Looks like his back is loosened up. His knee is nice and not as tender. They're beating some good teams. Let me go ahead and look this up. But what you got on the Bulls? Have you changed your opinion?
He'll be ready. He'll be prime and ready to go right to Cabo San Lucas or Playa del Carmen or somewhere in Mexico. Enjoy his off season. I mean, they have been playing well. Might have to eat a little crow on the Bulls when they make the play-in tournament. Now, does that eliminate them from the lottery?
Well, first off, I'm not going to eat crow. I said that when I made my prediction about
All right.
I'm not going to eat crow on the Bulls here.
Okay.
Because it's not a awful take. And, I'm just not going to do it. I said it when I made the take. I said the Bulls will mess around and, slip in and expect me to eat crow. I'm not eating crow with all this bed rest. I'm just not doing it. But now, right now, they're in the 10th slot. They're 35 and 38, 17 and a half games out of first. But they're only a half game out of the 9th slot and a game and a half out of the 8th slot. So conceivably, they can end up with an 8 seed out there. Yeah,
you put them they're right downtown LA today. So you can probably get a ticket for $20. Go out there and watch them play the Lakers. And it's conceivable. You got teams that'll tank or have bad games or a couple bad games. We got Pat Beverly in his revenge game here today. So, all it takes a 3-game winning streak and it can get him right in the 8th place. So I'd be concerned with the Bulls if I was playing in the East.
Yeah, and if I got this right, if it stays like it is, I think the Bulls and Heat, with 7-seeded Heat, would be the first play-in game. Then you got the Hawks against the Raptors. The Bulls would have to win both games against the Heat in order to advance. And then I think the Hawks would have to So if the Heat win one game, then the Bulls are eliminated. If the Hawks beat the Raptors one game, then the Raptors are eliminated. Otherwise, the Raptors would have to beat them twice, win 2 games, and they're in.
Oh yeah, I pay no attention to that nonsense. I don't know what the formula is.
Like who cares? I mean, if you're an 8th seed, it's been 82 games. Why are they having a play-in? You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. They're trying to compete with college basketball, or March Madness. I don't know. It makes no sense to me.
And why aren't we? You know how the news media for the last, even when Jordan was playing, they used to talk that the East is best crap. I mean, the West is best crap.
Yeah.
Why don't we hear about, I mean, you know what I mean? They're not talking about it's down in the East and blah, 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 blah. We're not hearing about that. You know, there's a lot of parity out there, but everybody, you know, what's up with this national narrative? They never give the East love.
Well, any place LeBron goes, that's the best conference. So
you mean LeBron?
Yeah, LeBron's on bed rest. And is he back yet?
No, he's on bed rest, and he said that he made a tweet because everybody's got their sources, and they were anticipating when he was coming back. And he tweeted, "Well, I don't know about your sources, but there is no timetable for my return."
All right.
Yeah.
So if they make the playoffs, he'll be back. If they don't, he's done.
Well, they're playing a lot better without him. I'd actually, consider trading him first chance I got.
Put him on first thing smoking. Somebody take him.
Yeah, some dumb teams willing to give up, their future for the past.
No, the Bulls. Maybe the Bulls give up.
They'll do it.
A couple more first-round draft picks and see what happens.
The Bulls are definitely doing it.
Oh yeah, we got LeBron in the prime of his retirement. Oh yeah, we'll take him.
Yeah, we'll do him a favor. He's not playing for nothing. You know what I mean? We'll make him richer.
Yeah, he can come out here and score 30, 40 points a game, or he can score 10. It doesn't matter. And then in a couple of years, we can try and get Bronny. Oh yeah, it's a great plan.
Yeah, but it looks like the Bulls, I mean, unless they have a big failure, looks like they're going to get in.
Yeah.
Question is, can they, and they can beat those other seeds, one of those seeds, 2 games, but then you win that, what do you get? A series with Milwaukee.
Oh, great. Yeah, that was.
We got a chance.
that was our prize last year, wasn't it? Yeah. And Zach LaVine in the middle of the series, like, hey, wait a minute. Yeah, my knee's hurting. I think I'm gonna have to sit the rest of this one out.
Now I will eat crow if they get in past the play-in. If they get in past the play-in and beat Milwaukee in the series, I'm prepared. I'm prepared to eat crow.
If they beat Milwaukee in the series, I'm prepared to barbecue the crow, and saute it and eat it.
All right. So
that'd be over Giannis's dead body. They lose to the Chicago Bulls in the playoff series. There's no way.
Literally and figuratively. But big ups to them. They're playing good ball right now.
Absolutely.
So we got the NBA's Jackie Robinson is what we're covering today. But before we get there, we got some other hot topics. Bear down.
Yeah.
Now, I had a question to get our Bears talk going. Lamar always getting hurt, can't process, greedy, wants too much money.
Yeah, needs an agent.
Yeah, Jack, needs an agent. His mama shouldn't be in his business. His mama's in his business, So, yeah. Would you give up just in time? Okay. And our first round pick that we acquired from the Panthers. Would you entertain that for Lamar? Because I'm asking you because I know you were willing to entertain, the whole Fields thing, for the first round pick in some kind of way. So
I was willing to entertain the talk. You son of there's no way I give up Justin Fields for twice hurt Lamar Jackson and our first round pick. Are you calling me a monkey?
And you're getting them off the rookie contract. So you know what I mean? You go from owing dirt to paying $50 million a year guaranteed.
But yeah, I've seen a lot of these mock trades and mock drafts, and I just can't wait to draft day when we get all this crap over with. But the fact that you want to get rid of your young guy that's coming into his prime and a first round draft pick to pay a guy $200+ million guaranteed, you got to be nuts.
Well, let me go on record. Fields is going to be the MVP of the league either this season or next season. I'm standing by that. But I would not make the move either. I wouldn't do it. But is there any move you would make? Is there any quarterback, if they came calling you? I know you're willing to entertain conversation.
Well, I'll talk. We can talk.
Is there any quarterback in the league that you're willing to take that chance and pull the trigger on moving Fields outside of Patty Mahomes? Outside of that,
outside of Patty Mahomes,
Sideshow Bob.
No.
You wouldn't take that big Josh Allen?
Yeah, no, he hasn't won anything either.
He's drop dead gorgeous. He's processing.
Yeah, he hasn't won anything.
What about the guy for the Bengals? What's his name?
Yeah, he hasn't won anything either. Joe Burrow.
Yeah, Joe Burrow. He'll probably be wearing a MAGA hat at some point in his career. Have it up in his locker room. Yeah,
probably got one now.
Yeah.
No, outside of Patty Mahomes, who's won anything? None of them. So I'm going with Justin Fields until either one of them can say they got a chip. But, if Kansas City calls and, they're up there smoking crack and they want to trade Patty Mahomes for Justin Fields, I'm making that deal right now.
I said outside of Patty Mahomes, so I don't even want to talk about that. Okay. I'm not gonna go on the record for that. What about Jalen Hurts?
You're basically looking at the same quarterback. If you build up,
can't process, wants to run.
Yeah, needs help with his fundamentals. Yeah. So if the Bears built up their team, which they're in the process of doing through the draft and not through, and they're at the lower end of the age window with all these players. I'm gonna stick with just in time.
Yeah, but when you look at the value and the money and the potential, the upside, he's my guy. And
and they gotta pay Hurts they gotta pay Hurts now.
Oh yeah, they re-upped him. Yeah. Oh yeah, and I wanted to go back to last week. Yeah, you're right. I wouldn't pay Justin now. It would be after this season. I was thinking he was already in his third season. So yes, after this third season, you got to go ahead and give him his money. If he proves to you they can process, get him in and out the huddle. Doesn't want to play video games all day.
He doesn't. You don't have to force him to look at the playbook.
Yeah.
By putting it in the contract.
The Kyler clause. Yeah.
Kyler clause.
Yeah.
So no, there's no one in this particular league now, except for Sideshow Bob, that would have my interest, monetarily wise, and as far as physical and quarterback wise, that I would entertain.
Yeah, and this goes into toughness, work ethic. You know what I'm saying? They're similar with that.
Yeah, and everybody's he's embracing the guys they're bringing in, either on offense or defense. He's the leader of the team. So no, thank you. Now I know all you pundits in Chicago who sit there and quarterback on the weekends, and then on Monday morning figure the team could be better with XYZ quarterback, but no. This is where we're at. Either he gets it done or he doesn't, but I believe he'll get it done with the proper tools.
Yeah, I agree, because we already got a staunch running game. It's only going to get better as we retool this line a little bit and brought in some fresh running backs.
Yeah,
another year in the system for everybody. Brought in an ex-fudge packet. Tight end.
Yeah, they talking about Cole Kmet he better come on with it. The ex-fudge packer may be in line for that contract that he's supposed to get next year. So you got to prove it on the field.
Competition.
Yeah.
And then we got Demo. So it's looking good. It's looking really, really good because we were last in almost all of your passing metrics last year, but some of that's skewed because how much we ran the ball, the clock's moving, there's less passing opportunities. But
Yeah,
it can only get better in the passing.
it can't get worse. It
Right.
can't get. You got your number one receiver. You got 2 decent tight ends. You're improving the offensive line. I mean, if it gets worse, then somebody else has got to go. But you know, if you had a lack of talent last year, and then after you have injuries, you have even more of a lack of talent
On both sides, to quote Donald Trump, on both sides we had a lack of talent.
Well,
the
definitely
defense was last in
defense.
everything.
Oh, they were horrid. But
they were
hey,
last in every metric.
But you got rid of a lot of guys for draft capital. I mean, Philly gave you a draft pick for that bum. The former defensive end that set the Bears sack record in one season. You said, "Hey, it was time for him to go." They waited too late.
You waited. I would have moved him right at the end of that season when he had value. Could have got you a second-round pick for him.
Right. He's the Bears all-time single season sack leader. You can have him right now. But they wanted to entertain him and let him do whatever he was doing in the offseason. And then I'd have packaged him and Raekwon to chef up, and then tell them what kind of draft capital they could have got out of both of those guys. But it worked out.
And it helped with the salary cap too.
Oh my gosh! Look at the linebackers we got now. Got this young man from Philly, former University of Wisconsin linebacker. And we got Edmonds out of Buffalo, and everything I've seen about him, hopefully it transfers over here to Chicago, is fantastic. He likes intercepting the ball, tackling people. He gets it done out there on the field. So,
and he loves the facilities. He loves the history of the Bears.
Yeah.
But they talk history, but the only linebackers they ever mention is Urlacher. Big ups to Urlacher.
Buckets.
I mean, don't get me wrong. We don't know what's in his heart. But yeah, they never mentioned Buckets. They never mentioned Singletary. It's like he got blackballed after he pooped in the locker room, allegedly, at halftime of the game.
Can't win with him. Not going to use him.
They said he pooped in the locker room at the halftime talk and then said, "This is how you guys are playing." That's what I heard. And they said that was it. Now, if this is true, that is epic. That is, you're a coach. Can you imagine? You guys, hold on a second. You have to pull down your stuff, bend down and get it out. Right.
Oh my God. My family's out there. My kids are out there. Your family's out there. And this is how you guys are playing.
Bro, if he did that in California, which he was, they should have, they could have had him held for 3 days on a 5150. Psych evaluation, involuntary psych evaluation.
Hey, that's what you want. You wanted fire out of that guy. And damn it, he brought it. It don't matter if he's crazy or not.
I know if that's true. Man.
Can't win with him.
But they never mention him when they talk about our history of linebackers. It's pissed me off.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of eliminate that whole 85 roster of linebackers we had out there that were
Wilbur Marshall,
crushing people.
Otis Wilson. Yeah.
Wilbur Marshall just went for the money. Yeah, they all want to get paid.
Yeah.
The whole $6 million he got from the Washington Redskins. It's like peanuts nowadays.
Yeah, and we're positioning for the draft. You and I have covered it, but we'll have to revisit that. Maybe next week we'll talk about it because, now that we picked up certain free agents, we got more information to work with, and kind of changes up our needs. And we know that they're already drafted 9th.
Yeah. So, there's going to be the free fall and the scramble for the top quarterbacks, and then you'll see what happens after that. Who falls, who ascends, and who's sitting there for the Bears, or do they pick up another couple draft picks and go down to 12 or 15 or whatever suits their needs. So we'll see.
Yeah, somebody might want to move up and grab one of those quarterbacks who, we know at least two of them are going to be complete bums. I don't know which ones. It's just how the math. Total bums.
Yeah.
Maybe three.
Or just be in the wrong situation, and they won't be able to excel as a quarterback because of the situation they're in.
Bums.
Bums.
Situation.
You can't blame. You can't blame it.
You can't.
You can't blame the player. You blame it on the situation.
No.
Until you get him out of your program, and then you can call him a bum.
Like Baker Mayfield, he's been in so many situations, and you know what I mean. They should call him the situation. Start a, you know what I'm saying. What was our girl name on that New Jersey? Get Snooki out there, and he'll be the situation. Baker Mayfield. Boy, that would be dope. I'm the new situation. Yeah, that would be dope. Baker Mayfield with Snooki.
He's right down the street from you. Call his people and have his people call your people, and try and get some public relations work done for him, because it's definitely not going to be football.
Definitely not going to be football.
And who's the most popular person on the team? The backup quarterback.
Situation. That's his name. Baker, the situation Mayfield. All right,
first. Mouthpiece included.
Mouthpiece included. All right, let's move on, bro. Bear down though. Bear down and FGB. FGB?
FGB, definitely.
All right, so today's topic, we're talking about the NBA's John Baptiste DuSable, or Jackie Robinson, the first melanated player to be allowed to shoot hoops in the National Basketball Association. It's considered woke now, but it wasn't always woke. So we're moving on. Well, before we get there, Cam. So you got Cam Newton. I think he's overshadowing his son's pro day. I don't know. Maybe he's trying to bring more scouts to it. You can look at it one way, you can look at it the other. But he has his podcast, and he says that there's not 32 players better than him. Okay. And he's looking for a new contract. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, I mean, the bums they're running out there in the NFL, damn it, as long as I can play, I'd be out there spewing this nonsense myself too. Why not? You got bums all over the place getting millions of dollars.
I'll tell you what. Had he made that announcement before we signed Jackie Joyner-Kersee to be our backup, what's his name? Our backup?
PJ.
Yeah.
PJ Armstrong.
PJ Bowman. Before we signed PJ, big ups to PJ Bowman. Before we signed PJ, Cam would have been a perfect backup for Justin.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I mean, until he started wearing the tight outfits and bringing the purses to the locker room and Soldier Field, then that might have been a problem.
It's a merce. It's called a merce.
I'm sorry.
It's European. Yeah.
Okay. I've never had one. So until he started bringing the merces to the locker room and Soldier Field as the backup, it would have been a great idea as far as hopefully he could have spewed some of his knowledge of the game, of being MVP and getting to Super Bowl to young just in time to, But now we got a player that's in the same age range of just in time and maybe can help him. Yeah, we'll see who picks him up. But but a lot of teams they don't like melanated quarterbacks at all. Then you got an outspoken one that wears a merce to the locker room. There's not much room for him in the NFL anymore.
I don't think he's merces as much. It looks like he's getting into his blackness,
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Now, to his point about like 32, I mean, I wouldn't start him over Justin. I wouldn't start him in Detroit. I'd keep Goff.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd bring him in. Minnesota's good, so not in our division.
New York Jets.
Yeah,
he definitely can play for the Jets.
Atlanta, his hometown.
Atlanta, yeah. And they got rid of Matty Ice and had no damn plane. So
Some team is talking about the ginger. What was the ginger we went out and got?
Andy Dalton.
Yeah, he could definitely. I'd definitely rather have him than Andy Dalton.
Yeah, and you got New Orleans just picked up David Carr, but you know that's still a toss up too. David Carr hasn't won anything. They gave him a truckload of money to be a bum.
Well, I don't think it was an awful take, but your point is correct. They don't like the outspoken brother. You know, he talks about the history of the black quarterbacks and how they were maligned under the shield for years and things of this nature. You know,
they don't like you bringing that history out.
I can't help but think that if he was drop dead gorgeous, blonde haired, maybe green eyes, blue, you know, long flowing blonde hair, he'd have a job.
6'6", 250 pounds.
He'd have a job.
They found some work for him, absolutely. But unfortunately, he's on the other side of the spectrum, and it's not going to play.
All right, moving on. The NBA's John Baptiste point DuSable. That would be the path maker for other African Americans to be allowed to play in the league. That's what we're covering today. That's our hottest topic.
Yeah.
But you sent me a video about Desmond Howard, Heisman Trophy winner, did the pose. I think he played at Michigan. Yeah.
University of Michigan,
wasn't in the right situation when he made it to the pros.
Yeah.
It just wasn't in the right situation.
It wasn't. No.
But you sent the IG link, and he was on the airplane and sitting next to a big pink guy. You know what I mean? It looks like did it look like first class? I'm pretty sure it was first class because it was only 2 seats.
Yeah, it probably was.
Yeah, it's only 2 seats.
Yeah.
So he had some. He was coughing a little bit, you know, like clearing his throat. He said, but the guy next to him was saying that he was coughing, hacking before he got on the plane.
Yeah, give him a Rona test right here, right now.
Yeah, well, the guy demanded, the other passenger demanded that he wear a mask. So he told the staff, "Hey, wear a mask." So that you know, make this guy wear a mask. Which I'm gonna find it, but what's your take on this? And then I'm gonna play it.
Well, I mean, in this era of catching germs and spreading germs, I guess he had a certain point. I don't know how much he viewed Desmond Howard before he got on the plane, or if he was sitting next to him in the lobby or something. You know, they exaggerate all of their claims to make themselves right. But you know, if you felt that offended or afraid of the situation, you should have got up and moved yourself and asked them, you know, to find you another seat. But you to go to the point where you know, he's got to either have a mask or go. You know, you don't know who this man is, but you know, we don't know what's in his heart. We just know that he felt he was in a situation where I guess his health was being compromised. But he took it a step further, and it didn't work out for him. But it never stops the situations that we end up being in or having to go through or having to work out of just by being our beautiful Black selves. So,
yeah, and then there was some words. I guess the guy said that, I guess he said that something about check his stats. You know, he's got bigger United credits than Desmond.
Yeah. He went elite on him. He went elitist on him.
And I don't think he realized Desmond probably can still wipe his ass with whatever check this guy is getting from whatever company he was flying around.
Yeah, he was like, oh, wait a minute. He's like, yeah, look at this little short Black rapper here. I got to have more credits with United or American, whoever the hell we're flying with than him. You know, I fly business class all the time. Yeah. No, Mr. Pinkman, doesn't work that way all the time.
Yeah, and he's bald head too. We don't know what's in his heart. We're not going to say he was a skinhead, but
yeah, we don't know what's in his heart though.
Yeah,
we can't say.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he wouldn't have done that if that was blonde-haired guy sitting next to him clearing his throat.
Oh yeah, Jimmy Chetwood. There's no way he would have went that far.
Yeah, big ups to Desmond though, because he posted it on his Instagram live, and we always say silence is violence. So
yeah, say something, do something.
He had got dude's picture on the. He has got dude on the video too. That was hilarious.
You know, anything else to say after they checked the stats?
No, he had nothing to say. I'm in first class like you. What you think is going on?
You think I got this seat on a discount or something? Oh, the pilot's my brother-in-law or something? No, buddy. I probably didn't even pay for it. Maybe my network paid for it, you idiot.
All right, so now let's move on to the NCAA tournament, which I've had zero interest in. I didn't fill out any brackets the last 2 or 3 seasons.
Zero interest?
Zero interest. You know, all the best players are playing pros right now. They're stinking it up in the NBA as opposed to going and developing themselves as men and human beings. Not saying that I wouldn't do the same thing. I'd go stink it up for the money right away. I'm not saying, you know, but it's affecting the product in the NCAA, which is why I simply don't care. You know, these players aren't playing together long enough, which brings me to first time in tournament history that a number 1 seed did not make the Elite 8. What are your comments?
Well, you know, it had to happen sooner or later. You got all these big schools, the Power 5 recruiting the one and dones. And once they're one and done, they have nothing left in the cupboards. So they can't beat these schools that are sticking together there because their players aren't number 1 draft picks. They're playing 3-4 years, you know, developing physically and mentally.
Red shirting. They've been grown men, been in the system for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. And you're coming out there with your 18, 19-year-olds after the one and done has left your program.
The stat padders.
Yeah. And they're getting beat up because he's a grown man that they're playing against is trying to win a championship for real. And all the players you recruited you just bring in so you can have a big name, and then 1 year later they're gone. So, you know, it had to happen eventually, and now it has. And it'll continue to happen as long as you got these players that are coming in and leaving these programs as opposed to these teams that are being developed.
And some of it, that's 100% true. I'd also put some of the blame on the people who are doing the seeding. Obviously, awful job.
Oh, yeah.
Awful job. I mean, none of them made the Elite 8. We're not talking Final Four. They didn't get to the Elite 8, not one number 1 seed.
Number 1 seed lost in the first damn round.
Yeah, and I know your boy Dame, you know, they kind of buried the lead when Dame was talking about he was on what's his name show? We don't know what's in his heart. From Duke. He's got a podcast. We talked about him last week. Can't think of his name. JJ Redick.
Oh, yeah.
And he went on there and was talking about the current NBA. What they decided to harp on was him talking about this championship or bust mentality. Dame believes that's new. But what he said, though, leading up to that was he doesn't like playing in the league as much anymore. He said when he came in, there were veterans, and you weren't given the reins to the organization. You had to earn it. You know, we talked about that on this show, how the league is experiencing the same thing NC2As are, where they devalued the wisdom, the knowledge of the veteran leadership, you know, the grown men, the mentors. They devalued that. You know, Michael Jeffrey Jordan, when he won his chips, he was on the oldest team in the NBA. Remember Mike valued having veterans out there.
The Bill Cockbacks.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. So, and I think that you're like you mentioned to your point, that's been happening in the NC2As. You don't have a lot of that, and these guys aren't learning what it takes to be professional basketball players.
Well, I mean, you set up the system where you don't want them to. Now, I guess that's why colleges have given these guys the opportunity to get the NILs. But if you got a player that's good enough to make it to the league, I don't care about no NIL. He wants some endorsements. He wants a contract, and he wants a Lambo truck. So,
yeah, he can get the check and the endorsements if he goes to the league.
Right. Well, and you got these other guys that are in college grinding and transferring and going through the portal and finding the best situations for themselves and getting stronger, or just at least staying with the team that they're with if they got a good coach and learning the game. And there's no value for that in the NBA no more. They'll take them in the league, draft them for their potential, put them in the G League, and if they make it up, cool. If they can stay on the big team, cool. But the leadership in the NBA doesn't value the development of the players anymore, and it's being shown in the product.
Yeah, and so you got Florida Atlantic, Ace. Florida Atlantic made it to the Final
Four. Yeah.
Previously, they had not won, to your point, they had not won an NCAA tournament game, and that should tell people what we're talking about. This illustrates the point. When you got into the NC2As, you were playing against teams where they might have had one freshman or sophomore star.
Yeah.
Jordan came, Carolina, he had the veterans on the team, the upperclassmen. So you were playing against all teams that had been together for a long time. It was tough to scratch out a W if you were from one of these, I don't want to say shithole schools, but if you're from one of these lower tier Division I schools. And now you can get all the way to the Final Four.
Maybe the championship.
Right now, so today at 1:20, you got 6th-seeded Creighton playing 5th-seeded San Diego State. This is in the Elite Eight.
Yeah,
you got 5th-seeded. You got 5th-seeded Miami, Florida against 2-seeded Texas at 4:05 p.m. Chicago time. So now, right now, UConn and Florida Atlantic are in the Final Four. They're not playing each other. They're going to be playing the winner of those games. So
okay.
So what's your commentary, and who's going to win the NC2As? Who do you got winning it all?
Right now, I'm riding with the University of Miami. Those guys are athletic. They play ball. If they make it to the Final Four, I got them winning the whole damn thing. They got a dynamic. They got good guard play. They got great guard play. They got a big man that's worried about getting rebounds and playing defense, and they'll run you up and down the court. Which I don't think if they can get one of these teams that's similar to them in talent, I don't think they could be stopped. So I'm going with Miami Hurricanes, Uncle Luke.
All right.
So I'm going. No disrespect to the teams that are already in the Final Four, and Miami still got to get there. But I like the Hurricanes.
That's disrespectful. Yeah, and I'm rolling with San Diego State just because I'm on the West Coast.
All right, I got you.
And
that was LT school. LaDainian Thomas. I think he went to San Diego State University. Must have bought him a house out there. So Escalade.
It's where the Navy is, and big naval base and everything.
Okay.
All right. So
it's dude country.
That's the tournament. So now let's push on. I think this is a melanated coach at St. John's. He was fired. The only reason I believe he's melanated is because he's suing for his bread. Apparently, he was let go because he didn't live up to the standards of St. John's academic integrity. Now we're talking about a place where, what's his name, Chris Mullen and all those guys with. I can guarantee you, listen to Chris Mullen, he never cracked a book.
Never. Yeah. Somebody doing his homework while they were cracking a beer for him all at the same time. Can you keep the beer cold and keep this guy eligible to play in the damn NCAAs? Absolutely, coach.
I think he said he was drinking beers before the games.
Yeah, he admitted he's alcoholic.
Yeah. But all right, academic integrity. All right, okay. That's what everybody wants to do. So they're using that. I don't know what evidence they have, but they're using that not to honor the rest of his contract and pay him the rest of the money. And they're looking to hire greasy-haired Rick Pitino, who I don't think has been a pillar of academic integrity in his history of coaching.
What was his last controversy at the University of Louisville? Was the prostitutes? Said the assistant coaches were getting can't call them that anymore. The working women
sex
of the
workers.
night. Sex workers to recruit as athletes to the schools. University of Louisville. Now he's supplanting the current coach who was put out because of his lack of academic integrity at St. John's University. I think it's just a negotiation ploy. They didn't want to pay him all the money. We'll let you go to court, and we'll give you some of the money because you're in our county, and we'll figure out how much we want to pay you. But come on, man.
Yeah, why do we? It's going to arbitrator. But go ahead. Yeah, it's arbitrator.
Yeah. That's what they wanted to do. But just get a man his money. They didn't want to give it all to him. But you go to arbitrator. Arbitrator comes up with something, of course, that's favorable for the university because the university is
paying less than what they owe. Right.
Yeah. So it all works out for everybody except for the melanated coach who doesn't have a job.
They're going to use the money that they save on that contract to add to the package for Greasy Pitino.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
Come in there and clean everything up.
He's going to clean it all up. Yeah. He doesn't have those coaches anymore. He's going to come on some more coaches that are, morally grounded. They won't go get the sex workers for his players anymore.
Sex workers for everyone.
Not just the players, it's for everybody. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he needs a budget. He needs a budget for that. So, they constructed a plan allegedly to get some extra bread for that.
And nobody's talking about this. This guy that slid in and got him a 70-year-old coach, got a 6-year contract. You fired the melanated coach, and nobody has anything to say about it.
Nobody has anything to say about it. It's funny. I'm glad you reminded me of that because I completely forgot about his scandal, Pitino's scandal. And you're right. Nobody's talking about that. ESPN is normally, they got all the women on their show. But he was using sex workers and they're bringing him back. What do you think about that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
We haven't had that segment.
Yeah. There's no narrative at all about him, coming back as a head coach after such a controversy and ruin the University of Louisville's basketball program because he said he wasn't part of it. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. All right. Small ups to St. John's University basketball.
Very
program.
small ups.
Very small. All right, so let's move on. Speaking of ESPN, WEEI radio host Shades Mina Kimes. So, those little bottles that have become, I guess, the whole thing, those little bottles of drinks, alcoholic beverages, mixed drinks, whatever.
Shooters.
Yeah, shooters. Yeah, so many of them refer to them as nips, right?
Yeah.
So they were talking about the new law, I think it's in California, where they're looking to ban these nips because the trash all over the place and they can't recycle these things. So now the radio host jumps out there, and they were going to do their top 5 nips. The radio host jumped out there and said, Mina Kimes out there.
Yeah.
And Mina Kimes, she's some sort of a Asian out there. I think she's Korean. And that's who they were referring to, Mina Kimes. What are your thoughts on this? They use the N-word on Mina Kimes.
Yeah. Who cares if
his name is Chris Curtis, and he's pink, and he doesn't have any hair on his head. Just for reference, we don't know what's in his heart. We're not going to say he's a skinhead. But go ahead, bro.
Well, we don't know what's in his heart, but he's probably a racist.
In my opinion, allegedly.
Yeah. I mean, come on, you're referring to her as, I can't even comment on this one. It just gets worse and worse every week. And then he can go back and apologize. Like, I was just having a moment of non-clarity. But I can tell you what's in my heart. I didn't mean anything. And God bless her. And when did my check start rolling again? Come on, man. We know what it is. He's a racist.
There's got to be a Triple K handbook for how to get out of these situations.
Yeah, I'm going to sensitivity training, and my best friend is Amar Rashad.
So the term NIPS is shortened for Nippon, Nippon. It's considered an ethnic slur directed towards Japanese people gained prominence during World War II. During these wars, the best thing a lot of pink people are creative at is coming up with all these racist terms. I know when you're around them, you're like, wait, what? What'd you call this guy?
Got him a nip.
Yeah. And, we have these wars, and then we go around the world, spreading our racist doctrines.
Killing people.
Nips can also be a slang term for nipples, as we know.
Yeah.
So after the clip went viral, to your point about his apology attempt, he said, in a pathetic failed attempt at a one-liner, I attempted to bring up Mila Kunis, the actress, which is not really that funny. So he's trying to say he was referring to Nips, Mila Kunis. He said it was, so he's apologizing by saying he wasn't being racist, he was being misogynistic.
Yeah, I mean, that's, you can get away with that for a little while.
I don't know. During this Me Too movement and this Women's History Month.
Me Too was a couple a year or two ago.
Yeah, but I hear you though. It's less of a. He said that it was sophomoric and sexist. He said, but for reasons I don't understand, this is him. For reasons I don't understand, I said Mina Kimes. That was never the intention for me to say her name. It had nothing to do with the subject matter, and it dragged her into a controversy through no fault of her own regarding a slur and her race, and that was not at all what my intention was. But it doesn't matter because of the absolute chaos my words created for someone who's just doing her job covering the NFL at ESPN. So I want to apologize to Mina Kimes, not Mila Kunis. I want to apologize for a stupid, lame attempt at a joke, something that there's just really no way to put it. It was dumb and it was silly. I think they get a bonus or something from Triple K. It's something, or every so often, you're up. You gotta say something. Yeah, you're up.
I'm gonna try. What was that on Paul Blart? No, it wasn't Paul Blart. It was one of the movies we do the fart, to snort, and burp at the same time. So it's like I'm gonna be a racist, a sexist, and if I come up with something else, I get the triple pass from the Triple K. Sure, you can try.
Yeah, Triple K of the year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But let's not forget your boy with the Nickelback comment. I never liked Tony Romo. You remember him? I told you during the game. I was like, man. So this dude, said, and look at those and then stopped, and then trying to say he was referring to Nickelback, And I looked at the play. There was no nickelbacks on the field. There was no nickelback in the area, but it's plain to see. You
We don't
can't
know what's in
change
his
me.
heart.
I'm gonna be a nickelback for life. Yeah. So I'm saying that I think his number was up. You know, we made you famous. You know, we got this narrative that you're such a great announcer and you're perfect, right? And it's up. You got to pay the piper. You got to say something racist.
Yeah, I mean, he won the triple prize for that particular comment. And as you saw, when he apologized, he'd rather be deemed sexist versus racist in this particular scenario. But it was hard for him to get away from being racist. So he just rather went on here with the sexist part, and then he'll take his little penance, take a 2-week vacation, and come back and get his checks.
Yeah, because what he should have said if I was his team.
They're all racist. I mean,
correct. But like for instance, I didn't know what a nip was outside of the misogynistic side of it. What I'm saying is the racist uses of it. I wasn't familiar with it, so he should have said, I didn't even know that was a thing, and I apologize. You know what I mean? He didn't even mention that, so it sounds to me like he knew that was a thing.
Yeah, we could have made some shit up, like, it was a shout out to Nipsey Hussle, and, I'm just saying, it's all crap. Nip. So
rest up, Nip. But he hasn't been fired or suspended.
Of course not.
You'll see him on Fox National soon. I guarantee it.
Or he could have been saying it was a shout out to Nipsey from Martin, who rest in peace, Nipsey, who just passed on. I think it was last week at the age of 54.
All right. Well,
but whatever he said, it was going to be some crap.
Small ups to him. All right. So now, I want to bring us to Booger of the Week before we get on topic. We had picked a different booger, but there's 2 different segments I'm gonna play, and this is Colin Booger. Cowherd, I call him Coward. Colin.
No, he's a booger. He's a lifetime booger. But go ahead.
Yeah, well, we don't know what's in his heart.
Yeah, he's a monkey.
Right, but I'm just gonna play the sound, and this is fair use.
Before Scottie.
Here we go.
He didn't win squat before Scottie Pippen. He just scored a lot and alienated teammates. He failed in baseball. He failed badly with the Wizards. He failed with the Hornets. Jordan, take away David Stern, Phil Knight, and Phil Jackson, is a really, really talented basketball player that probably ends up averaging more points without the titles.
Okay, before you comment, I'm going to play that one more time.
He didn't win squat before Scottie Pippen. He just scored a lot and alienated teammates. He failed in baseball. He failed badly with the Wizards. He failed with the Hornets. Jordan, take away David Stern, Phil Knight, and Phil Jackson, is a really, really talented basketball player that probably ends up averaging more points without the titles.
Okay, that's part 1 of this 2-part booger series. What's your initial gut-wrenching reaction to this nonsense that's being spewed? And I usually don't like leading you, but this blasphemy that's being spewed.
We don't know what's in his heart. He was just going from his experience of being a sports analyst, speaking on Jordan's ability to lead an NBA team to a championship, to take a shithole basketball league and make it worldwide.
Shithole organization. Go ahead.
And make everybody associated with the NBA billions of dollars, to take a team that in Washington that they were trying to profit off his image and likeness, and it gave him a part ownership of the hockey team, and wanted him to come to Washington to put some butts in seats.
And he was flirting with the playoffs when he was at Washington.
Yeah, I mean, he's Michael Jordan. He's 40 years old, and they still couldn't stop him.
If they would have had a play-in, he'd have made it. Go ahead.
Yeah. And then you also have him being the owner. They want to discount his ability to be as an owner, and you can go to the books and see how much the team was when he bought them and how much they're worth now. So, this so-called sportscaster or pundit or monkey that they got on here, spewing his rhetoric about the greatest basketball player of all time. There's nothing to comment about,
And you rarely hear them talk about billionaires like that, other team owners, unless they come out and spew some racist or misogynistic something, or do something crazy like with the Knicks owner. You rarely hear them going in on. I mean, I bet if I took some research on this, I could find some NBA owners that suck just as bad.
Yeah, I mean,
as far as product on the court.
Well, I mean, yeah, there's plenty of them, but we don't know what's in his heart. But to come back at Michael Jeffrey Jordan with some nonsense like this, and the fact that you still even have employment is based on Michael Jeffrey Jordan.
But he was saying that Jordan wouldn't have been nothing without the upper management and the ownership. So
the commissioner.
That's like saying Larry Bird would have been nothing without Red Auerbach, Casey Jones. Without we'll go into the players he played with. They'll never spew that. They'll never spew that Larry Bird wasn't at a shithole organization when he got there, to your point about situations, right? Magic wasn't at a shithole organization when he got there, but they won't say, Magic can thank Kareem and thank Jerry Buss and thank, what was the coach name with the greasy hair? Pat Riley. Yeah, they won't say that, but for some reason for Mike, he's got to give all the praise to Phil Knight of Nike, Jerry Reinsdorf, and all these guys, for his success. But his failures though, you can't blame the same people, the same owner on the baseball team. You can't blame them for that. His failures all on him.
Yeah, I mean, if you got all those guys in the same room together, David Stern and Phil Knight, well, rest in peace, David Stern, and all the pink people we just mentioned, and got in the same room with this coward guy, it'd just be probably a 20-minute session of them slapping the taste out of his mouth and telling him how much that Michael Jordan has meant to all of these different entities.
He's the golden goose, you idiot.
Yeah. The NBA championship games were on tape delay, before Magic and then Bird and then Jordan got there and made the playoffs something you wanted to see.
And when he got to the Bulls, nobody even picked him up from the airport. And he was, a majority of their stars, all stars, well, we don't know what was going on, but allegedly were literally hitting the whistle. And you know what I'm saying? Like smoking, not the booger sugars, but they were smoking it.
Yeah.
Free basing, as they called it.
Free basing.
Yeah.
Cocaine in the locker room.
Yeah. The Bulls were an expansion organization, young team, hadn't won crap.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to now pretend that the organization was so good?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a lack of research, a lack of thought before putting a statement out like this, or he's just looking for clickbait, which, a lot of these guys are unfortunately allowed to do, and then call themselves journalists.
I agree. He's definitely looking for clickbait, but he's clickbaiting a certain aspect of society, that loves to hear this nonsense. And coward, my message to you before we play segment 2 is, what have the Bulls won lately?
No.
with all of the processing and upper management, and what have they won lately since Michael Jordan has left? But let's go to part 2. I'm just playing the sound here.
Scotty. Michael takes care of them. They create a shield for Michael. For all the mythology, and he's as good a basketball player as I've ever seen, he failed at baseball. He failed at owning a team. He was bad with the Wizards. And all he did was score points and alienate people when he got to Chicago. Even Michael needed leadership. Stern, Phil Knight, Phil Jackson, and for the record, not a lot of playoff wins without Scottie Pippen. Now,
Okay. What was Phil Jackson before Mike? We're not taking nothing away from Phil.
He was a CBA coach.
Right.
And he got on the Bulls as an assistant coach. And I forgot what Doug Collins did to get fired, but they just moved him up to the next chair. He hadn't won anything except for the CBA.
Correct. And so to give all this credit to Pippen, we're not taking nothing away from Pippen. Pippen's first 2-3 years in the Bulls, he was giving us nothing, 9-10 points. He was giving us nothing in the regular season and the playoffs. And Mike was dominating. One season he had Pip, he was first team, he was defensive player of the year and MVP of the league, and averaged like 35.8 points. And this guy is giving all the credit to everyone but Michael Jeffrey Jordan. And his failures in baseball, I don't really consider it a failure, but Mike is on record saying that his failures, and any kids out there, failures are stepping stones to success.
Right. And if this coward can go out there and hit 250 in Major League Baseball, coming out of basketball, I would be amazed. Absolutely amazed. That's one of the hardest jobs in the world, is to be able to hit a baseball from a major league pitcher. And
it's been said, even Reinsdorf said it, coward. Had Mike stuck with it for another 2-3 years, he would have broken through to the majors.
Yeah, baseball is definitely preparation. And that muscle memory and that repetition of playing on the field and in batting cages and in games. And this guy's coming off of playing in the World Championships in basketball. So this guy is just a coward and a major idiot.
That's our booger of the week.
Yeah.
We've decided to move. Well, not move away. If we can't find a black booger, you pink guys aren't.
They're not exempt.
Yeah, you pink guys are not exempt. That's facts. All right. So as you can see, the topic we're going to get on the hot topic. That's the Jackie Robinson of the NBA. This is something you don't hear a lot about. The first individual to actually play in a first black individual to actually play in an NBA game. And his name is Earl Lloyd. Okay. Earl Lloyd. Now, just give you some background before we unpack this topic. Like many black sports pioneers before him, Earl Lloyd, the first black player to appear in an NBA game, encountered the ugly side of humanity. It didn't stop him. His parents were in the stands during one home game in D.C. You can't consider that a northern state or a southern state, but it's not Mississippi or Alabama. And were exposed to numerous racist remarks. One fan said, one fan asked aloud, that N-word could play. It didn't stop Lloyd. Nothing did. After one win, he was spit on. Didn't stop him. A fan asked to see his tail. Didn't stop him. Another fan in a different city told him to go back to Africa. Didn't stop him. He said Indianapolis, northern state. city, Baltimore, Fort Wayne, Indiana. Tough towns, man. He said, in the 1994 Sports Illustrated interview, when you went to Fort Wayne, Indiana to play, you had to do some emotional yoga to get ready because you knew it was coming. Lloyd is a pioneer who many may not know, but everyone should. While not as historically recognizable as Jackie Robinson, big ups, the first black man to play in the majors, Lloyd was a contemporary barrier breaker. He made history when his team, the Washington Capitals, played Rochester Royals on October 31st, Halloween, 1950, 3 years after Jackie Robinson debuted with the Brooklyn Dodgers. His career lasted 9 years. He was inducted into the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame in 2003 and died in 2015. 2 other brothers entered the NBA in 1950, the same as Lloyd. One was Nat Clifton, formerly of the Harlem Globetrotters. And the Globetrotters started in Chicago. I'd like to put that out there so you guys can know history. Who signed a contract with the New York Knickerbockers. The other was Chuck Cooper of the Boston Celtics, who was the first black player to actually be drafted by an NBA team. The Celtics took him in the second round from Duquesne. Although the 1950-51 NBA season proved historic for their debuts, they haven't entered into legend like Jackie Robinson. Baseball was a national pastime, and the NBA didn't grow into a sporting superpower until decades after Lloyd retired. In 1950, the NBA was like 4 years old. We were like babes in the wood, Lloyd said. It didn't get the type of coverage that Major League Baseball got. All right, and that was read from USA Today. The article is entitled Black History Heroes. Earl Lloyd, the NBA's first black player, moved basketball forward, and that's from February 21, 2023. Talk to me. Earl Lloyd out there.
Earl Lloyd, big ups to Earl Lloyd. And like you said, the NBA was just a ute when Jackie Robinson came into Major League Baseball, which was primarily America's pastime, all-white sport. And Jackie had to endure racism, and just like Jackie, Lloyd had to endure the racism of going from city to city, playing in these different arenas, KK country in Indiana and other states, southern states, that they didn't recognize a melanated player as being an athlete, because they were any professional athlete was deemed to be an American, and we're not speaking of a Black American. So I had to endure these things. Reading the article that he endured these things as an athlete, went on, did his time, and as a man, he even stopped talking about it, but because he didn't even consider it being part of history, let alone American and sports history, that he was the first black player in the NBA. And even at 70 years old, and when
he went on to coach too.
Yeah, people were talking to him, and they're like, man, I didn't realize, you did this in the NBA. He's like, oh, I was just playing, but I didn't consider it such a big thing because the NBA wasn't a big sport until much later in his life.
Coverage.
Yeah, so there was no television. There was not much radio coverage. The newspaper might give him a little bit of time on the back, but it wasn't a big sport. And for him to be such a pioneer in the sport, it really didn't mean nothing early in his lifetime.
Yeah, and one thing about him, they were talking about, like his parents were at the game and they had to listen to, all of the, the racist remarks and things of that nature. He said one time, I forgot what city, I think they were in Boston. I'm pretty sure it was Boston. They wouldn't let him stay in the hotel. And he said his coach was going ham on his behalf. And he said that, he told his coach to cool out and went and stayed at a shithole hotel, because he didn't want to cause any trouble. And that kind of pains your heart, but that tells you how times were then, bro. You could literally come up missing.
Right. And then not just him and the coach, would have came up missing because of, the coach
making trouble.
Making trouble. A ninja lover, his coach would have been hung as, and he'd have been hung just because of the color of his skin. So, it's and the sad thing is, it still can happen today. In 2023, which is only 73 years later, it could still happen, and it is still happening in certain states. The United States of America won't pass laws, anti-lynching laws in 2023. So you got to consider that your legislators still have the mindset of the original Constitution, that we're not a full human. So these are things you have to consider in sports and in life. I mean, when I show up with my all-black team and all these tournaments, we don't get the benefit of the doubt of anything. We're explaining the rules very carefully by the umpires, and anytime we excel, the first thing the other teams do is go to the rule book and try and find ways that we were breaking the rules. But we've been through this so many years and so long. We know we got to adhere to the rules twice as well, know everything, and it's a shame that we're still going through this just to compete on a normal playing field. But it is what it is. One day we'll be judged by the content of our character as opposed to the color of our skin. And I just hope I'm alive to see it.
Yeah, and to your point about the anti-lynching laws, I mean, we got one for Asians being lynched.
Mm-hmm.
The Self-Love show is covering Rasheem Carter. Many feel, rest his soul, big ups. Many feel like he was, literally lynched. To your point, why hasn't the NBA retired his jersey and those two other brothers' jerseys the way the majors have retired Jackie Robinson's number? Like, the NBA is supposed to be so woke and thinking forward, although we've seen so many, we don't know what's in their heart owners.
Right.
Where there's smoke, there's fire. If you can't expect me to believe that those two just slipped in, like they're the exception as opposed to being the rule. Right. I'm not buying that one.
Yeah.
I can't even believe what's his name, the Mavericks owner. I don't know what's in his heart.
No.
Always riding for Texas and Dallas, and he's a billionaire and went to school in Indiana University. I mean, what's his name? He's on Shark Tank.
That's
Cuban.
Yeah. Mark Cuban.
Yeah, we don't know what's in his heart.
No.
But, so so to say, why hasn't the league, I would say, honored? Why isn't this known? Because I literally had to Google it, and because I was thinking to myself, like, well, who broke the color barrier in the league? You know what I mean? And why isn't this known?
But like you said, you don't know what's in their heart. Now it would have been a perfect time during this woke era, or in the bubble, or the George Floyd era to honor these particular men who broke the color barrier in the NBA. Maybe they don't consider them breaking the color barrier. It was just at a time that they transitioned from starting the league being all white, and then we had our first black player. He didn't have to break the color barrier. They were always accepted in our league.
That's how it comes off to me too, Ace. I agree that they want to just control the narrative, and we were never like baseball or football.
No, we weren't like that. But come on, it was America. So somebody had to break the line. If you didn't start the league with brothers playing the league, somebody broke the line, and it was It was these three gentlemen in 1950. So yeah, give them some dues, give them some props, give them some honors in your league. It's not too late. You messed around for it's been 70 years. Go ahead and do the right thing. It's okay. It's okay. David Stern's gone. Whoever the commissioner is, Sterling or Silverman or
Dick Sterling, I think.
Whoever's the commissioner of the league is, do the right thing. You lost your time to do it while Mr. Lloyd was alive. So go ahead and honor his history in your league while you have the time to do it. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, if your owners have opposition to it, then, that should be told. If your players association can't come up with the idea to honor, the patriarchs of African Americans in this league, then that's a problem also. So,
but come on, Ace, when those smart, clean, pretty Caucasians, sit in the stands and buy their money and pay all the money for the tickets with the caucasity there.
Yeah. Sitting 100 level seats.
The caucasity of hope. Yeah, I mean, when they come to the game, they want to get away from all of their problems in life and politics and everything. So, they don't want critical race theory mixed in with their sports. So what do you say about that?
Stay home.
Bottom line, these owners want to make money. They're the bottom line.
Stephen A. They want to make money. We don't know what's in their hearts. We just know they want to make money. Yeah, well, those future generations of fans are not going to be drop dead gorgeous or have silver hair or
spewing racist remarks from the stands.
It's got to die. It's got to die out sooner or later. Unfortunately, it's being later, but you got to do the right thing. I don't mind. If you keep going down the line with the first black player, then you go with the first Latino player, whatever. But just give some give some credence to the diversity in your league. We know there's no diversity in your ownership, very little. There's no diversity in your front offices. So do something while you can to show some diversity. Besides, wearing the Black Lives Matter shirts when it's convenient for you.
Well, if you can allow these people to spew racist remarks, because they still do it in certain stadiums. You see, what's his name? Westbrook loves to point them out. LeBron's pointed out a few. Yeah, I mean, so if you allow them to spew that, obviously they do like discussing critical race theory and matters of race at games because they like to spew hate from their mouth, many of them.
Well, they feel they can do that if they're on the sidelines or they got those 100 level seats, or they leave work early and make the rest of the people still work while they're at the game drinking and spewing their hate.
That alcohol makes what comes out of their heart, what's in their heart, come on out of their mouth, huh?
Comes right on out. They can't control it. Can't control it at all.
Well, they can control it because they won't say it just walking down the street if they saw LeBron one-on-one.
Oh,
they won't spew it. But I know what you're saying. If they come out of a bar and they see you walking past, they won't spew it. You know what I mean? So they can control it, but when it's in a controlled environment, where they can be safe, then they can't.
Yeah, because they know just as far as the players have security, they have security in these particular arenas. And, the people generally sitting around them won't say anything. And it takes a player that's on the court listening to that crap to point them out to get them out of the damn stadium.
Correct. The refs won't say anything. The refs should be pointing these guys out like, get them out of here. Security should be getting them out. Like you say, silence is violence. The fans sitting next to them should be offended. Like, my kids don't need to hear this. Get this guy out of here. You're right. But even in 2023, it takes the players to point this out and say, get them out of here.
Yeah, it's on the court playing a game. but listening to. So it's never definitely one time if a player takes notice of this person and has to listen to him and then say, yeah, that's the same guy that's been spewing this crap the whole game. Get him out of here.
The whole season. Every time I come here.
Every time I come here, yeah. So so like I said, the people sitting next to him, they listen to that crap every time he comes to the game. It's probably a season ticket holder, or more than likely it is. And they listen to the hate that he's spewing toward this player, or that player, or that player. But it's the same type of hate. So, silence is violence.
Well, I bet you Kramer off of Seinfeld, which I like the show. I'm not going to, a lot of black folks don't watch it, but it's actually better than Friends, a million times better.
Oh, yeah.
But Kramer watching Westbrook and LeBron point these players out, I bet Kramer be like, back in my day, we'd had a pitchfork up in him. In other words, if Westbrook was playing when this brother was playing, he didn't have the ability to point these people out and say, get him out of here. Oh, no.
Right. He just had to shut up and dribble.
He'd come up missing. He'd had to shut up and dribble. Go ahead and give me your final thoughts, bro, as we wrap up.
All right. Final thoughts. Good. Big shout out to Mr. Lloyd and the pioneers that broke into the NBA back in 1950. Just a few years after my main man, Jackie Robinson, endured what he had to endure across the country playing America's pastime. I know we just honored Bill Russell across the league by retiring his number for every NBA team. But, there's a ring of honor that can be created in every city for these black men who endured, the racism. And it's not just them, it's the players that came after them, but they were the first that had to go through this in the NBA, and not to be recognized, 73 years later, you have to be recognized by Mouthpiece included, or articles in USA Today, or Sports Illustrated, or ESPN magazine, or whoever has the audacity to recognize these players that went through such a struggle. the caucasity to be recognized. These players that went through so much to develop a position in the NBA. It's a shame that, this league, who's so woke, who's willing to financially profit off being woke, do the right thing. Recognize Lloyd and the other two gentlemen that were the pioneers of breaking into your league back in 1950. If not all of them, at least Mr. Lloyd, who was playing on the court, and change the narrative of what's going on today. We know his story is a history, so make your NBA history the real history of your league, and do the right thing. That's all I got to say. That's my final word.
Yeah, and great words, bro. Yeah, and they can even what's his name? Whatever the commissioner's name is.
I think it's Sterling now.
Yeah, Donald Sterling. No, that was the owner of the Clippers.
Yeah. Silver.
Rick Silver, Dick Silver.
Yeah, Silver, short for Silverstein.
Yeah, well, whatever it is. NBA commissioner, you guys can, one way, because we're big on reparations here at TATN, you can start promoting those jerseys of those brothers.
Yeah.
You give the proceeds not to some charity of your choice. You give the proceeds to their families, and then, I would ask our brothers and sisters out here to start buying those jerseys as well. I'm going to look and see if I can find some. It would be nice to, Silverman. Yes, Silverman. Brother Wordsmith clarified it. It's Silverman.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. And he said, great information, great show. Yeah, we appreciate that.
What else, sir?
Yeah, and so yeah, like the jersey programs for those guys would be good. I would also say all of their numbers, because of what they endured, should be retired across the league. Nobody should be able to wear those jerseys. Um, you know what I mean? Um, or you could do it in a way where, a particular player on the team, maybe he's a Walter Payton Award type of player,
Absolutely.
gets to wear that jersey and represent for these guys. Just some way to bring the truth to the history, you know. That would be my thing on this. And yeah, let's not hide from this history because I'm going to butcher the quote, but if we're not aware of his story, we're going to be deemed to repeat it again.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's pretty much all I had. And you guys, next week on Mouthpiece Included, we're covering the Black Fives out there, Ace. The Black Fives.
All right.
The Black Fives. You got one hand right there, you know what I'm saying? And then you make a fist and it's stronger, Something I hadn't heard of, the Black Fives. So when basketball started, they were called teams fives. And of course, the Melanateds became known as Black Fives.
The Black Fives.
Racist bastards. But we don't know what was in their hearts.
We don't know what's in their hearts, but
we don't know. But basically, it was the basketball's versions of the Negro Leagues. And I found a link, Ace, and I'll pin it in the chat next week, where you can actually buy gear and caps from the Black Five teams.
Oh, yeah, that's what's up.
Yeah, that is totally what's up. Bring some of that old school Perry out. So that's what we're covering, the Black and Negro Leagues next week on Mouthpiece Included.
No, I'm with that.
Yeah, and you guys, it's always an open panel. So, if you got the cojones to pull up, if you still got them, everybody claims they still got them.
Ain't nobody got them.
Go ahead and pull up. You know what I'm saying? And coming up on the Self Love Show in about an hour and 10 minutes, we're going to be breaking down the sad yet curious case of Rasheem Carter. After the autopsy, they found trigger alert. They found his body all mangled. 12 said there was no foul play initially until that autopsy report went public. The brother's head was literally cut off. Not only was his head cut off, the top part of his head was scalped off. His spine was found, a separate part away from his body, but no foul play. They said the animals did it. Yeah, so that's what we're breaking down. And that's why we always say, you might be cruising through one of them sundown towns, or you might be sliding through Chicago, great city of shine. You might even be dipping through Inglewood, Compton, Long Beach, Inglewood. Better check your blind spot. Better watch your six. Better keep your head on a swivel. Better guard your grill. Better knuckle up. And don't forget it.
Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Uh-oh. Did we forget it?
I forgot. And don't forget to bring your mouthpiece.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for the Self-Love Show.
Self-Love Show.
Yeah. Like that.
Yeah.